This dinosaur had been starving for a whole week. Just as it lowered its head to search carefully for food, something unexpected happened. A natural enemy, a predator, suddenly appeared across from it. This situation just became very serious. So what exactly was going on? It turned out that not long ago, an asteroid had just struck the Earth. Two young Pertosaurus managed to survive the initial devastating catastrophe. As they emerged from their cave, they saw the lifeless bodies of their parents. Even these giant beasts had emotions. But there was no time for sorrow. After all, an animal's instinct is still to survive. Though they had survived the heat waves and wildfires, they now had to face hunger. Most of the vegetation had turned to ash. Even if a few plants had survived, they were far from enough to sustain two giant creatures. Of course, the survivors weren't just the two Pertosaurus. Their natural enemy, the Mapusaurus, had also made it through. After walking for who knows how long, the two giants finally reached the coastline. At this point, they were extremely hungry. Under normal circumstances, they would eat over 100 pounds of plants a day. But now, they could only rely on willpower to hold on. So the two dinosaurs once again desperately searched for food. And that's when the scene at the beginning happened. The Mapusaurus was one of the top predators in South America at the time. As their archenemy, the Pertosaurus leapt high with all its might. It knew just how fierce the Mapusaurus could be in battle. Unfortunately, this time it had guessed wrong. This was a lonely and weakened Mapusaurus. The great disaster had destroyed its entire pack. At this moment, it no longer had the strength to prey on such giant creatures. The young Pertosaurus narrowly escaped. But if they still couldn't find food, they would die anyway. At that time, South America and Antarctica were still connected. So about a month after the asteroid impact, the two Pertosaurus were reaching their limit. They had nearly consumed everything they came across along the way. But a miracle finally occurred. After climbing over a mountain, they saw an endless green ocean. That's right, they had reached Antarctica. Unlike today's Antarctica, back then, it was rich in resources during the season. It was like a backyard paradise for many migrating dinosaurs. Clearly, this continent had suffered very little during the initial disaster. Life was flourishing everywhere. At last, the two Pertosaurus were saved. Unfortunately, the arrival of outsiders naturally attracted the attention of the local predators.